Hey, welcome to today's Q&A. We go live every Tuesday at noon central to give you an option or an opportunity, I guess, to ask your questions, get them answered about some of the available jobs, truck driving jobs here at Decker Truck Line. So welcome, my name is Jessie. I've been with Decker Truck Line since 2010 and I'm part of the recruiting department and communications department to help educate you on what Decker has to offer and hopefully answer some of those questions that you've been wondering. And if you can't find them anywhere else, let's just get those answered for you. So again, my name is Jessie. The way that this works is if you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat and then I'll dive into answering that. And I usually just go in the order. Also, if you're wondering about what's available out of your area, the best way to do that is to go ahead and put your zip code or your city and state, zip code, city, state, and your experience level. Because then I can answer for you what we have available, and then I can give you an idea of what the rate of pay per mile is. Because most everybody is looking for, of course, what's the compensation? What's my time worth? What can I expect? You know, because we're all working here for a livelihood. So let's dive in. Josh says, can't wait to get started. Awesome. And what's the date, Josh? It's got to be coming about pretty quick, right? There we go. Let's see. Let me see if I can see it. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're coming aboard. And let's see, you're a student out of Houston? Is that right? Looking for the refrigerated division then. Excellent. I lost my screen. There we go. The 12th of February. All right, so next Monday. So for those of you who are interested or those of you who would be coming aboard as a student, Josh has probably been through most of this already, so I'm going to kind of recap it for both him and for those of you who are looking to come aboard. But as a student, you have a little bit different process than somebody that is an experienced driver. First of all, orientation is going to be a 5-day orientation instead of just a 3-day orientation. We want to spend a little bit more time with you, getting to know, or having you get to know the industry and the company a little bit more. And of course, getting you prepped to go with a trainer. So first off, when you put in an application and you speak to a recruiter, they're going to get you qualified for the position or determine whether or not you're qualified for the position. Obviously, they can't get you there. That is all you. So if you have a major moving violation or a DOT recordable accident, that's preventable, or you don't have any of experience, then you wouldn't qualify for Decker. There is an exception, however, in our over-the-road refrigerated divisions, I should say, as well as our Midwest Flatbed division, we do offer training for recent graduates. So if you're a recent graduate, which looks like Josh, that's your case, then you can be approved using an approved school. So you've graduated from your approved school, you've obtained your Class A CDL, that gets you qualified for the quote-unquote experience level that we would need. Now that said, you're still going to be going through the orientation process and the training process to make sure that you're ready to go solo. So you've put in your application, you've gotten approved, we're setting you up for orientation. We're going to get you a rental car to get you to Fort Dodge for orientation, unless you're going to fly. We have that option as well, and of course, depending on where you live, there could be some other options, but usually it's a rental car, and then we take care of the gas, of course, as well. We'll take care of your hotel and your meals while you're in Fort Dodge. But before you even get to that point, and you've been approved, we will need a physical and your drug tests completed before coming to orientation. Physical, drug test, and online orientation. So online orientation is a series of videos followed by a couple of questions, and you'll go through that process until that's complete. That cuts down orientation by a couple of days at the very least. So we can condense orientation a little bit more by doing the online orientation ahead of time. And it's more at your pace anyways, so that's nice as well. Your physical, if you have a recent physical and it's good for another year, we could probably just use that one. We'll just need you to send over to the recruiter, we'll need you to send over your long form. So your complete long form, get that on over to the recruiting department, and then they will have that signed off by our HR and safety department. Make sure that that's all taken care of. We also will need to do your drug test. Now, we do both the physical, or we do both the urinalysis and the hair follicle for the drug test. We'll get that set up. Of course, we can use your physical if it's good, but when you start a new company, you always got to do a new drug test. So urinalysis and the hair follicle will get set up before you even come to orientation. So a lot of that is done ahead of time, and you're not waiting around for others to do that while you're in orientation. So that makes life a little bit easier for you, or a little bit less annoying, right? Okay, so we do that. And then once you've completed all of that, then we'll get you set up for orientation, like getting your rental car and having you arrive in Fort Dodge. We set you up in a hotel. We don't shack you up with anybody. These are solo rooms. So you've got your own space to come back to and relax after orientation. And orientation usually runs till about 4:30 each afternoon. So that, again, gives you time to review everything with the orientation leaders and training, and then ask questions what you have. If you have questions, ask them, because we don't know what you don't know until you tell us, right? That's how it works. So please make sure that you feel free to ask those questions. That's what these opportunities are all about anyway. And then when you've completed your 5-day orientation, and please remember, for those of you who've just hopped on, this is for students. 5 days orientation for students, 3-day orientation for experienced drivers, meaning you have over 6 months at least. All right. And then once you've completed orientation as a student, you'll go with a trainer for 2 to 3 weeks. Orientation pays you $500, and training pays you $700 for the week, or $100 a day. Kind of breaks down for you that way. That way, if you fall into the next week, you kind of have an idea of what orientation or what training will pay you. Okay. Now that said, once you've done with the training and you've completed that, you're ready to go solo, you'll come back to the terminal, you'll walk through the truck that you're being assigned, you'll walk through that with the maintenance department, making sure that you understand how to run the APU unit and where everything is at. You've got your CB and your heater and your inverter and your TV, microwave. You've got the whole kit and caboodle, really. So getting you familiar with your truck. We have 579 Peterbilts, we have a few Volvos, and we have a few Freightliners. Most of them are the Peterbilts. However, I know this week some of the guys in orientation, or at least I think everybody in orientation, is getting Freightliners, because that's what we have right now that's available. So again, it's all based off of what's available. The majority, like over 95% of our trucks are Peterbilts. So usually that's the case. But all of our trucks have the extensive amenities. Again, APUs, inverters, refrigerators, microwaves, televisions with Epic View satellite TV, programming that's paid. We are equipped with Sirius radio. I think I said CB units. We have the Lytx system in all the trucks, which does include both inward and outward facing event recorders. Those are not on a live feed. I know Lytx offers a whole kit and caboodle of things, but we did not opt in for the live feed. So keep that in mind. If you have questions about that, feel free to ask. We will be happy to dive into that as well. What else can I tell you about the trucks? They're very well maintained. Average age is about 18 months. So you're not going to see anything. I don't think we have anything older than 2020. And the 2021s are the one, the 2020s are the ones that are coming out. Most of them already out, and you can actually see some of those trucks that are for sale on our truck and trailer sales website. So you can check that out. Trucking with Freddie, best trucks out there, he says. Love it. And that's fantastic. I didn't even pay him to say that. No. Thanks, Freddie. We appreciate it. Yeah, we are very proud of our trucks. The maintenance on them, the trucks and trailers for that matter, maintenance on them, as well as they're just sharp looking, right? And now now we're going with even more pride. We've got 2024 best fleets to drive for. I had to put that out there. It's a little exciting for me, so that's the third year in a row. All right, I'll quit nerding out on that, but very exciting. I'm sure I will say it again. Okay, back to the equipment you can expect. You'll go through that with the maintenance department. That way, if you have questions on how to work some of this stuff, they can flat out tell you. One other thing. Don't forget to bring bedding, like sheets, and sleeping bag or pillow or whatever. But for sheets, they're extra large or a twin extra large for the bedding size, if you're wondering. But I know sometimes people will pick those up in Fort Dodge, and usually it's available at Walmart or wherever. But if you don't know the size, it can be a pain in your butt. So yeah. Anyways, the trucks are double bunk, so whether you're running with a trainer or not, they are double bunk. And when you run with a trainer, you're not running team driving, which means, or what I mean by that is, the trainer is in the sleeper while you're driving. That is not how it works. They are training you, and so initially, you'll kind of ease into the full-time driving, and by the time you're done with the training, you'll be driving pretty much the whole time. So yeah, that's how that works. If you have questions, let us know. Josh, you probably have most of your questions answered. Doesn't mean you can't ask, but yeah, if you have them, just let me know. I'm sure, I think Bryce was your recruiter, right? He does a pretty darn good job. Don't tell him I said that, but yeah, he does a pretty good job of answering those questions. Excellent. Okay, now I hit on the student side. Let's talk about experienced drivers, since that is the majority of our elite fleet here at Decker. Our professional drivers have a minimum of 6 months of experience. Now, that said, we have, I know you'll see some of these 389 Peterbilts out on the road. Those are our drivers who have been here at Decker for over 15 years, and they get to spec those trucks. Now, not everybody has chosen to do that, but yeah, that is the norm for those 389s. They're sharp-looking trucks. So, Josh says, can I refuse home time? You can, but you probably, if you need to take your 34 somewhere, you can take it out on the road. Yep. We figure for every 7 days out, it's a day and a half home time. And the most important thing is that you are staying safe, so that you're getting the rest that you need. So I know a lot of our drivers, they tend to stay out, some of them longer lengths at a time. I know several, Felix is one that comes to mind. He'll stay out a month at a time, easily, probably 6 weeks at a time, and then he'll take a longer time off. So for every 7 days out, it's a day and a half home time. It's pretty normal for the over-the-road refrigerated division to stay out 2 to 3 weeks and then home for 4 or 5 days. We have a minimum pay that we offer on a weekly basis. Now, if your minimum pay is less than your cents per mile and the miles that you run, you're going to get the cents per mile, because that's the better of the two. You want better of the two, you put the work in, right? That's how that works. But the minimum pay is there to help you budget, and I always call it a safety net. So it's there so you'll get at least that amount. There are qualifying factors for that. So this is something I want to educate you on, so make you aware of, but also teach you how to maximize it, especially as an over-the-road driver. For someone who is out a week at a time, these qualifications, they just kind of fall in line. But when you're over the road, you do want to make sure that when you're coming home, you're straddling your home time on the cutoff day, which Tuesday is our cutoff day. So you're here on our cutoff day. Tuesday at midnight, you have to have all of your paperwork in for that week. That is one of the requirements for the guaranteed, or for the minimum pay that we have. And that minimum pay is based off of the division you're in. So for Josh, for our over-the-road refrigerated division, the minimum pay is $1,000 a week. So you'll know you'll get at least that each week, as long as you've got your paperwork in on time, which is Tuesday at midnight. Ideally, get it in after every load. I'm sure your trainer will teach you that to make sure, kind of train you in getting that in on a regular basis, because it makes it a whole lot easier on you where you're not chasing your paperwork. And if you're in some sketchy service area, you know it's going through. So get your paperwork in on time. That's the first one. No load refusals. So no load refusals, no driver service failures, no late loads. Be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. And that's the one I was referring to on straddling your home time. So I'm going to come back to that one. No preventable accidents for the week and no CSA violations for the week. 6 qualifications, easy peasy. Now, as for getting your, getting your home time, making sure you're available for 5 days out of the week, that part of the minimum pay qualification. If you're out for 2 weeks at a time and you're home for 3 days, then you are wanting to make sure your home time is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or, just so that you have, as I'm thinking of this, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There we go. To make sure that you are maximizing your home time, as well as making sure that you're optimizing your pay. If you're getting the miles and your constant, your mileage pay and your rate of pay per mile or whatever, and the miles that you run exceed that minimum pay, then it's not necessarily anything you have to worry about. But on the weeks that you're coming home, it could drop your pay. You're not running the miles. So I know in the past, now this was years ago because we've had this minimum pay for several years now, but years ago, before we had the minimum pay, I know a lot of professional drivers who just wouldn't go home because the moment they got home, their pay stopped. It's because they weren't running miles, right? So they're burning themselves out running and not getting any home time, so not getting any quality time. And then, all because their pay stops with the mileage pay. Now with Decker, what I really like is once we implemented this minimum pay, you can get a better balance of home time and pay, right? Instead of seeing a complete drop. But it's important to straddle that home time, because if you are out for 2 weeks at a time, okay, and you've got those 3 days off, if you take all 3 days off within a same pay period, and this is the point I'm finally getting to, I'm sorry it took so long, but if you take those 3 days off within the same period, then you're only available for 4 days during the week instead of 5. Well, then you now are disqualified from that minimum pay qualification, right? Because you aren't available for 5 days. That's why it's important to straddle your home time on that cutoff day. And your driver manager, they'll work with you on it. They know that's the case. So unless you are requesting other days home, like for instance, weekends home, then they'll work with you to get you home and maximize your rate of your minimum pay. So keep that in mind. I think that's really important to know. And when this is new to a lot of people, and a lot of you guys have been running mileage pay for years and years, this would be new to you too. But yeah, you want to maximize that minimum pay. Now that said, your rate of pay per mile and the miles you ran can still exceed that minimum pay. That's awesome. You've just got that safety net provided for you. Now also with refrigerated, coming just full circle back to what we were talking about, with refrigerated, we cannot guarantee you home on the weekends. That doesn't mean to say that you wouldn't be home, you couldn't see Friday or Saturday or Sunday every once in a while, but usually your home time will be on, usually straddle around the cutoff time, especially if you're over the road. In some divisions, we do offer 5 days out and 2 days home, and 7 days out and 2 days home. Again, we can't, in the refrigerated division, we can't guarantee it's home on the weekends, but it sometimes does fall that way. So, And a lot of times, especially with the 5 out and the 7 out, a lot of times that'll fall where you'll get at least part of that weekend off. Flatbed, however, different story. Flatbed is very, very common to either come home on a Friday night or a Saturday morning and then go back out either Sunday night or Monday morning. So you have at least a 34 over the weekend. And most of our flatbed divisions are either home weekly or home every other week. Pretty common. A little bit different than refrigerated, and I think you'll kind of see that as you dive into the industry. And Josh, maybe you have knowledge of the industry even before getting into it. It's just your first driving. If you come from a trucking family, it's something that you might already be well aware of. So, the things you learn from parents, right? Or uncles, whatever. But yes, so there's that for the minimum pay. It's a safety net. What else can I tell you about the pay? Incentives and stuff? Oh, pay. So the rate of pay per mile, 10 cents of that is per diem. For someone who just recently graduated for the refrigerated division, you'd start at 52 cents a mile. That is a brand new graduate. And you'll be at 55 cents a mile by the end of the first year. For someone who has minimal experience, but still considered experience, which means you've got at least 6 months of experience, you're looking at starting at 55 cents a mile, and you'll get a raise at 90 days and then annually at that point. Now, those are the minimum pays that I'm talking about. However, or those are the lower end of the pay scale because of experience. Minimum pay is the $1,000 a week or the $700 a week or $1,450, depending on the division. Where was I going with that? Oh, but your rate of pay is going to be based off your experience level. So if you are someone with 10 years of experience in the refrigerated division, you're probably going to you're probably looking at 65 cents a mile to start in the refrigerated division if you have over 10 years experience. 65 cents a mile, 10 cents of that is per diem, so you're not taxed on 10 cents a mile, which brings a little bit more take home on a weekly basis. And again, a penny raise after 90 days, and then annually. Cap right now is at 70 cents for both the refrigerated and flatbed division. Now the difference is in our over-the-road flatbed division, we do start drivers who have over 15 years of experience at 70 cents a mile currently. So, and again, 10 cents of that is per diem. So if you're wondering what we would start you at based on your experience level, let me know your years of experience in the chat, and then I will let you know. But the minimum pay is based off of the division. Let me try that again. The minimum pay is based off of the division, not your years of experience. Your years of experience is the mileage pay. That's why for someone who is a student that's running, 2,500 miles for the week isn't going to make the same as somebody who is an experienced driver with over 70 or who's making 70 cents a mile and running the same 2,500 miles for the week. So you'll see that's where as an inexperienced driver or a student, you got to put more time in to raise the bar, to raise your pay. Christopher Van Dyke says, is your refrigerated division hiring for drivers? Yes, our refrigerated is hiring for drivers. It definitely depends on where you're at. I don't want to promise you that you're in the hiring area without knowing what your zip code is. But yes, we have over-the-road refrigerated, and we've got some regional positions depending on where you live. Our over-the-road runs coast to coast. A lot of it is going to be west of the Mississippi. We've got a terminal in Missoula, Montana, and we hire out of areas of Washington, Portland, Oregon, Hermiston, Oregon, Salt Lake City, Montana. I think I said Spokane, Washington, Cheyenne, Wyoming, Denver, Colorado, Las Vegas, Nevada. Those are the areas that we're hiring out west in, but you can still be part of that over-the-road division that does run west if you live in areas of the Midwest, such as Chicago or Iowa or Milwaukee. We have quite a bit. Joliet, Illinois. Yeah, we should. Let me double check. I love it when I can't type. Just kidding, it's super annoying. All right, so yeah, so you're in Joliet. We've got a couple of options for you in the refrigerated division, okay? So if you're looking to run only in the Midwest, we can get you home every 5 days, we can get you home every 7 days, every 11 days, and then we have the over-the-road division that runs more out west. If you're looking to get home every 5 days, you're going to stay more regional than you would if you're running coast to coast. So, but yes, we do have that option. But again, I do want to remind you that with 5 days out, if you decide to do the 5 days out and 2 days home, I can't guarantee that it'll be home on the weekends, but it'll be 2 days a week. And then, and then it's $700 a week for the minimum pay versus $1,000 a week for the over the road. Please remember though that is the minimum pay. That is not what you would max out at. We don't have a max because if you're putting the miles in and getting the miles and doing the work, you're going to get the better of those two. So keep that in mind. Benefits all start after 60 days. Oh, I'm going to rewind a little bit. It's weekly pay. By the way, you do get paid every Friday direct deposit, and you'll get an email. You'll also get notification on your TransFlow app letting you know so you can see your statement. And then we have, like I said, we have benefits. Those start after 60 days. Medical, dental, vision, prescription, 401k. It's a 50% match on the 401k. The prescription, I can't talk. The prescription is, there's a couple of different ways to maximize the prescription. If you are going into the pharmacy, it's $0 copays pretty much anywhere except for CVS and Walgreens. Those are the two exceptions for the $0 copay. Not that you can't get prescriptions at those locations, it's just not $0 copay. And then we also have $0 copay on brand names and specialty drugs. You just have to call, confirm that yours is going to be covered, and those have to be ordered. So you can get like a 60-day supply or something like that. 60, I think maybe 90 as well. But those can save you a bundle, makes a huge difference. So take advantage, learn how to maximize the prescription. We've got a benefits coordinator. Andrea will definitely walk you through that. And it's pretty explanatory in the benefits package. I understand it, so you're safe. Christopher says, do I need a hazmat endorsement? No, you don't. We do run hazmat every once in a while, but not very often, and most definitely not often enough to require it. But we'll pay extra, obviously, on those hazmat loads. I do not have my license. Is that a problem? Sorry, this is cutting off part of what you were writing. Yes, if you don't have a Class A CDL, then you wouldn't qualify for the position. So you'd have to obtain your Class A CDL first. But if you're saying that you don't have a hazmat endorsement on your license, no worries. Don't worry about that. But you would have to have your Class A CDL first before coming aboard, and either be a recent graduate of an approved school or have at least 6 months of experience, and then you'd be going solo from then, after orientation, of course. You meant hazmat on my license. Okay, I thought maybe that's what you meant. Read between the lines. Yeah. I'm following. Yes, you'd be good. Then we don't require it. We do have, let's see, let me double check. For any hazmat loads, it is an extra $50. For the refrigerated side, it's $85 for the flatbed. But again, neither one of them run a whole lot of hazmat, so I don't want to be like, oh yeah, get all the hazmat loads. You make it that wouldn't be a good game plan for you. It just isn't often enough. Do you have extra training on the ELD system? Yes, absolutely. We use the TransFlow Geotab unit, and we do have some resources here in our YouTube page, or our YouTube channel, I guess is the right words. But we have some resources that we've done video walkthroughs on how to use it and answer some questions. And if you have other questions, definitely ask us. And then, of course, the training department will walk you through that as well. When you go and get your truck, the maintenance department will show you how to sign in, kind of a review of what you've gone over in the training department. But yes, the ELD system, we will keep you aware of it. One of the most important things with the ELD is confirming or certifying your hours of service on a regular basis. Oftentimes, people forget to do that, and that's a violation. That's the word I want. So it's a violation if you don't certify it. It just shows that your logs aren't up to date. So that's the most important part. And it's just an easy certify. You click the certify button. And again, if you watch some of the videos, you'll see that. Let me see if I can find some of those videos for you. And then I can link it in our YouTube as well. Hang on for a sec, because this might bring noise. All right, doesn't like me searching while I'm on live, so I might have to come back for you. But yes, I can get that information for you, Christopher, so that you don't have to go searching for it. Yeah, it definitely doesn't want me to search for it. Let me make a note though, so I don't forget. So I'll forget otherwise. Okay, so ELD for Christopher. And then I'll just put it back in this chat or back in the comments of this video so that you can have access to it. Cool? Could you? All right, now for layover, detention, mechanical breakdown, we do pay those as well. For breakdown, it starts at $100 a day. So $100 for the first day, $150 for the second, and $200 for the third day, and so forth. That said, if we know that you're going to be like broke down, like you have repairs on your truck that are going to take longer than the 3 days or 2 days or something, then we might just get you into another truck temporarily to keep you running. You'll make more money that way. And then, all the way around, to be honest with you, so that you're not just sitting there waiting for your truck to get repaired. If that's the case. Now, sometimes it's not an option for us. And of course, you've got the breakdown pay at that point, but that'll be factored into your minimum pay. So with the minimum being $1,000 for most, like I said, $700 in some cases, $1,450 in others in flatbed. So what else? Detention, it's $20. $20. It maxes at $200 within a 24-hour period. Layover, we also have the layover program, and again, that all fits in within those minimum pays. $75 for the first 24 hours for layover, and then the following days would be $100 a day instead of the 75. Yep. Trying to make sure that I answered questions that you might have, kind of heading them off. If you are a military vet, or if you're currently in the military, you've served here recently, within the last 2 years or so, or you currently, then you do get extra, like an extra penny to 2 pennies, depending on your amount of experience or service. So keep that in mind if you are a vet, or if you are currently serving military. That does go towards your pay, not towards your experience, but towards your pay. Okay. And also for experienced drivers, we also have a $2,000 sign-on bonus. The way that pays out, again, this is only for experienced drivers, but the way that pays out, it's $500 you'll get on your first dispatch, like as soon as you're done with orientation. You'll get $500 at 60, 90, and 180 days. Yeah, 60, 90, and 180 days. So that's $2,000 total. This, by the way, was for $500 each. I just realized it's $2,000 total. 4 times 500. All right, wowzers. Bonuses. I was talking about the ELD system and the kind of information that you can get across your ELD on the TransFlow app. We do have the breakdown of your settlement so that you can see. Basically what it does is it shows your loaded miles and your empty miles The rate of pay is going to be the same either way, but it does break that down for you so you can see which one, how much is loaded and how much is empty. And again, your per diem is going to be broke down accordingly. Per diem is not taxed where the rest of it is taxed, but you still get the 10 cents per mile on all the miles that you ran. Loaded and empty. Where is I going with that? Oh, ELD system also gives you information on the monthly bonuses. So usually the week before we pay out the monthly bonuses, you'll get information on your scorecard and your safety bonus, and you can review that with your driver manager. When you're reviewing that, you're looking the criteria and everything for the scorecard: miles, fuel compliance, idle time, preventable accidents, CSA violations, on-time delivery, and claims. Those are the 7 criteria that are factored in the scorecard, and a 1,000-point scorecard is the best that you can get. If you're getting a 1,000-point scorecard, you're getting an extra 4 cents a mile on the miles, all of the miles that you completed for that previous month. Okay, because you're getting, so for February, around the 3rd week of February, you'll get the information on the miles and your scorecard for January, and that's when you'll see the bonus. Now, there's different levels of that scorecard bonus. So if you've gotten 825 or to 850 or whatever, you're looking at a penny per mile. Anything 850 or above, you're looking at 3 cents a mile. So there's different levels, and it breaks down that way. So you can talk to your driver manager if you have questions, or if you're wondering, hey, why did I not get it? Or, how can I improve, or whatever. That information is there at your fingertips to walk through. And yes, definitely walk through it with your driver manager so that you guys are on the same page. And if there's a discrepancy, then it can be reported, and then we can get that fixed. What else? Safety bonus, that's another thing that is monthly, and that's a penny per mile on all the miles that you completed for that previous month as well. Now, with the safety bonus and the scorecard combined, that's an extra 5 cents a mile. So if you're a refrigerated driver and you're at 65 cents a mile or whatever, then, which is our highest starting pay, you will get an extra 5 cents a mile. So it's not included within that 65. So everything that I'm quoting you guys, when I'm quoting you rate of pay per mile, isn't up to comments. I absolutely don't like that. It is your rate of pay per mile based on your experience level. Then you've got the bonuses on top of it. That way it's realistic. You know that the bonuses are something that you earn and isn't something that you can just, oh yeah, I'm going to get the bonus every month. It's a performance thing. So you're earning it. You're earning the miles too, but it's earned differently. And that way you have a better idea of what your rate of pay per mile is each and every week. Now, the cap for both of our divisions is at 70 cents a mile. That is 70 cents a mile before the bonuses. So if you are a flatbed driver with 15, 16 years of experience, you're starting at 70 cents a mile, right? Yeah. You're starting at 70 cents a mile. 10 cents of that's per diem. But maybe you got the maximum score on the scorecard, 1,000 points, and you got the great safety score. So if you have a perfect safety score as well, or 10 or below, then you're looking at another penny per mile. So 5 cents more. So you're going to be at 75 cents a mile, or actually receive 75 cents a mile on all the miles for that previous month. That's how that works. Cool? All right. I think I'm answering the questions. All right. I think that's it. If there's any other questions, feel free. It is no-touch freight for the refrigerated side. Flatbed, you are tarping and securing. Yes, we do pay for tarping and securing. It's an extra $25, $50 per load, $25 on each side. And yeah, I think that's about it, you guys. Kind of speeding through things. Then our individual positions, based off of the hiring areas, definitely call the recruiting department. By the way, this number that is flying through the screen, now that we are just wrapping up, I should have probably mentioned, but this number is the number to get a hold of our recruiting department. It's 877-433-2537. You can call them, speak to them directly about what we have available, in your neck of the woods. Or you can just apply online initially, drivedecker.com. If you have an IntelliApp in the system or within 10th Street system, then that makes life really easy. Get that IntelliApp over to, or your application over to the recruiting department. They'll be able to review it and reach out to you, letting you know that yes, you qualify, or no, you don't, before you even talk to them about the position. So that might make it a little easier for you as well, or at least give you a little peace of mind ahead of time. As far as qualifications, we don't work with anything, like no major moving violations within the last 3 years, no DOT recordable accidents within the last 3 years. You do have to be at least 21 years of age. And then we've already gone through the experience levels. What else? Qualification wise, driving, we talked about that. Yeah, no failed or refused drug or alcohol tests within the last 3 years, nothing like that. The SAT program has to be at least 3 years old and fully completed. You must have experience after that, recent experience from it. And yeah, that's the gist. So give us a call, 877-433-2537. Hopefully we can answer more of your questions. And as always, you guys, I appreciate you being here with me. And Josh, we look forward to having you come aboard next week. Travel safe. Truck and Freddie, absolutely love that you were on here, and thanks for your kind words. Christopher, if you have more questions, make sure that you reach out to us so that we can get those answered for you. And like I said, the ELD system, I'm going to go in and pull that video up and just put it in the comments so that you can have access to it and for you to look over. And just make sure that you understand it. And if you have more questions, ask away. That's what it's there for. All right. Yes, I think you did. I think so. But like I said, I started back in 2010. Absolutely proud of the company and the growth that we've seen. Last 3 years, earning the best fleets to drive for, being named that basically by our professional drivers is pretty sweet. And we've seen changes throughout the years, and they've been good. Always working, always making progress. All right. Well, have a safe trip and up to Fort Dodge, Josh. And then again, if you guys have questions, please reach out to us. Christopher, I'm going to go get that right away and get that tagged for you in case you have more questions. Okay, be safe. Have a wonderful rest of your week.